Hey guys, welcome to an all-new episode of Comic Book Wars, the comicbookspeculation.com podcast. I am Jimmy Linguini, and you other guys can now introduce yourselves.
Hey, what's up? It's Sleepy John. Now that I'm in week 2 back from Toronto, I feel my batteries are fully recharged. After last week, I was probably about 60%. So just wait till you see what I have in store for today.
Nico, your weekend update, comicbookspeculation.com correspondent, and today we have a very distinguished and special guest. It is an honor and a privilege to introduce the one and only comic DeSPECtive.
Thank you very much. That introduction is probably too good for me, but it's good to be here. Thanks for having me tonight, guys. And we're in the middle of a tornado warning, so if I'm battening down the hatches, I'll be drinking a lot tonight and looking forward to talking spec with you guys. I think you guys are running one of the best shows out there right now, and I'm looking forward to being a part of it tonight. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Gary.
Yeah, all right.
Thanks, Gary. That means a lot coming from you.
Yeah, thanks. I'm sure it does, Jimmy.
No, it does. It does.
I appreciate it.
But last week we ran a contest to do a giveaway if you shared the link and gave us your firstborn or something. Nico, do you want to get into that a little bit?
Yeah, so last week we decided that we were going to give away copies of the deceased. You'd have thought that I would have had the foresight to grab this book.
Yeah. Oh, you don't have them? Oh, that's unfortunate. But they were Stephanie.
I've got them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But who's the cover artist on that? Stephanie Myers or something?
Shannon Mayer.
Oh, Shannon Mayer. Okay.
That's a guy, by the way.
Shannon Mayer is?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. But yeah, so who won those?
There were a lot of entries, and we want to give a special thanks to all that participated. We intend to continue to give away comics until either we run out of comics or people watch the show, one or the other. But there can only be one winner, and the winner was Jesse Hobson. Jesse, if you're listening, congratulations. If you're not, we will hold your books in perpetuity and until you decide to listen again. But
in perpetuity. Is that what's in that room behind you?
Is
that what that room behind you is? That's perpetuity back
there?
Oh,
yeah. Hold on. I got to close the door. I get an echo.
Oh. Bring out the GIMP.
What is this? This is podcast off to a great start already.
George has to go change his underwear. Hold on a second.
You can just blame me for if anything goes badly.
The GIMP's asleep. Wake him up then.
But this week seemed pretty slow spec-wise. I mean, there was a few books that seemed to be heating up a little bit. Did Gary, since you're our guest, was there anything this week that you thought was sparked your interest that's coming out?
Not really. In fact, the last couple of weeks, I think, have been pretty slow. This week coming up looks good, but I don't think there was anything that really jumped out at me this week. I've been reading a lot and not buying a lot on Wednesdays anymore. I've really been reading books and backtracking and trying to find things that aren't on the radar, because there are so many people out there right now posting stuff up there that everybody's going after the same thing. So you need to, when they're zigging, you got to zag. So,
ooh,
yeah,
that is good. I agree to a point. I mean, it's very hard now. I don't do a lot of the Wednesday buying and selling. It's too hard. I mean, the closest shop, if I'm at work, is I got to drive half hour to get them, and I used to pre-order from Midtown, and they've gone completely to garbage as far as how the timeliness that they get books out and the quality of condition of the books. So I haven't really been doing the Wednesday stuff too much either. But I do still watch it because I think it's, I like that part of the hobby is seeing what people are paying for. I'm continually it seems like this year my mind has just been blown every week when I look at the new books and what people are paying for. Like Major X #1, the third print, 1 in 25 variant came out this week.
Is it okay?
I think it's out tomorrow.
It's the fourth print, right?
Yeah.
I think it's third, isn't it?
Well, let me do
I think it's a third print.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah. If you can bear with me, guys, I believe. Can we see what's going on here?
Yeah, I think that's the wrong page, though.
This is definitely the wrong page. If you bear with me, this is the book that you guys were talking about, right?
Hey, there we go.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
Look at that. Man, this guy's a technological wizard.
Uh-oh.
There we go. Sneak preview.
This is too much.
All right, I'm gonna call my agent. Yeah, I'm calling my agent. I'm out of here.
No, I went to a comic book store today, and the guy said like the books I ordered had come in, and apparently I ordered 15 copies of She Will Destroy You, the saga cover, which I guess that makes sense. But then I also ordered 15 copies of Spider-Man City at War #3. And I don't understand why. I don't.
Is that the first Gamerverse?
No, that Spider-Man City at War. They've been doing the Gamerverse over there, but that first appearance is way back when they did Spider-Geddon 0. That's the first appearance of the Gamerverse, because right in the beginning, the first couple pages, the Gamerverse appears. They're trying to sell City at War as the first appearance, but first one is Spider-Geddon 0.
I can't think of the life of me though, like why I ordered that many copies of issue 3. So I don't know what's going on there.
Do you think there's a Champions book that's coming out with an In-Huck Lee cover that has Spider-Man eating pizza on it, or you think maybe you just marked the wrong box and you were trying to order those books?
Spider-Man.
I mean, it's possible. I don't.
You know what I'm talking about?
No. But I also don't know why I ordered the City at War. So I just looked at the guy and I was like, this isn't happening. He's like, I have the text message. I can show it to you. And I'm like, oh.
I mean, it might not be this week per se, but it's soon here, and that's a good book.
Spider-Man eating pizza.
And what about going back, Jimmy, to the Saga cover? I know that Volt has been putting out every issue 1 that they put out this year is going to have a Volt vintage cover. So they've been doing homage covers for every cover. So that Saga cover is coming out. They have a Transmetropolitan cover coming out for Test #1. And I think there are at least 3 or 4 more coming out in the next couple months that, everyone, when these Savage Shores came out, everyone went right for those Volt vintage covers. I think that's the only one that's really heated up. Very low print runs, maybe around like 1,500, 2,500 is the highest they're going. But those books, unless they get optioned, I think they're gonna sit in boxes for a while. And I'm a big Volt fan. They're a great company. But those Volt vintage covers, I think they're doing them over and over again, and they're going to end up sort of digging their own grave with those.
For sure. I mean, they're solid covers though, and I think the cover be sold out at distribution of that one at least. So I'm not sure though.
Yeah, I saw it was sold out on some of the online retailers. So I didn't check Midtown, but
we'll see where that goes. I mean, it is what it is. But is Anita Blake 3 comes out this week?
Yeah. That 1 to 10, the Catherine Nodet cover. I know you guys have spoken a lot about it. That's a cover that way back on my MeWe page, we brought it up. A lot of people got in early on it. You don't see a lot of near mint copies of that at all. Even the copies I received, I have a couple back there. They're dinged up in the corners because nobody knows how to ship those magazine-sized books at all. So they come in tight packed, and then you get the corners, and they're dinged up all over. So if you find a near mint plus, I haven't seen anything come CGC, anything for those Amber Blake covers for the 1 to 10.
Not that I've seen yet. No,
right?
I haven't. No, not yet.
Yeah, and they're still going for what, like $100 issue 1, I think, the 1 to 10s, and like 35 to 40 for I think pre-sales on that issue 3, right?
Yeah, and I saw they already released the cover for #4 variant too. I saw a sale of that for 30 already, which is, I mean, it's a 1 to 10. I mean, you're not getting them at ratio for that book anywhere at this point.
No, because how many copies of Amber Blake 4 are being ordered by a store, right? Like none.
Yeah. It's what, a $7.99 book or something?
Oh, is it? No
Well,
clue.
it's magazine size. I don't think it's.
Yeah,
$3.99.
I'd have to look. I have a couple of the regular issues on that, but
Yeah.
and I have to say the artist, she that's her first real experience in comic variants, and she's very active on Twitter, but she's going to be doing a lot more. So so look out for her. She's someone who's very she was really surprised. She actually saw the prices on that first issue, and she's like she should have saved some of her own copies and to sell them on the secondary market. So
What's her name? Do you recall?
Catherine Naudet. Catherine Naudet,
Okay.
or Naudet
Yeah.
if you're French Canadian. So I don't know.
Yeah, right. How would you say it, Jimmy?
I wouldn't.
He would say Catherine.
I wish
Yeah,
Mel were
probably.
here. Mel would.
Mel butchers names all the
Yeah,
time.
absolutely.
But I guess the other book this week is Horror Comics #1 from Antarctic Press, which has 3 covers, but one of them's like a $9.99 cover already. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the spec is on that.
George,
It
this is your
wasn't a
cue,
variant?
George. Put that one up, George.
Hold
Come
on. Bear with me, guys.
Well, I mean, I think it was more of a George pick.
George cover.
I was hoping he could talk about the book a little bit.
Yeah, well, I'm excited that you've asked me to do that, Jimmy.
Because it
I
seems
really
like
am.
Antarctic Press is really rebooting a bunch of old titles, and they've done exciting comics, the one
Those
last
have really
week or
taken
whatever.
off. Those have taken off really far, really well.
Oh, I'm just saying they're doing a different. They're
Yeah.
trying new things, so who knows where horror comics is going to end up?
This is very exciting. I'm very excited. All right, so where is it? Nobody knows.
Go backwards the other way. I think you go
Yeah.
backwards.
Wow,
Wow,
this
there we go.
podcast
Look at this. So that's the B cover. I don't have a picture of the A cover, but that's the one that Jimmy was talking about, the more expensive of the two, which is like in kind to the, what was it, Jungle Comics?
Teether. This is the Teether variant, which in Teether was another Antarctic Press book that heated up.
And
But yeah, they also did Jungle Comics and some other ones.
right, this is a store variant. It was limited to 300 copies, and Sleepy sent me the cover, and that let me sleep on the release of this book so that I couldn't buy any. Those are the facts, and I'm sticking to them.
that book was heavily advertised, like all over social media. So I think I have like 5 emails from 3 different people selling it.
The question is, do you have 5 copies so that you can give one?
No, I didn't buy any copies of that book. Are you kidding me?
It's a tough game. George loses out again.
I don't think it's going to do that well in the secondary market. It wasn't.
Perhaps not, but I would just like the cover. I liked it.
I think it was $20 to buy it. A little high for independent conduct.
I thought it was 20 pounds.
Oh,
Yeah, I didn't see that. I don't know. I thought they were all very. I don't agree with the pricing on some variants, so I just leave them alone. I don't even know why I get the emails, but I do for some reason.
So
I added you. I went around and added your email to all of the.
It's by
stores.
Mirka and Dolfoso.
Mirka and Dolphin.
Mirka and
And
Dolphin,
it's a chamber
Unnatural.
of
Yeah,
chamber of
She does
19.
She does Unnatural.
Yeah, it was for sale for 1950 pounds, whatever that means.
Mikra.
That's
I think
what,
it's
30
Mikra
bucks,
and Dolphin.
35
Yeah, I
bucks.
think you're right. Yeah,
I don't think it was
yeah.
that much at the U.S. ones, but maybe it was.
And I don't know. I just got an email that says the trailer for the kitchen is supposed to come out on May 30th, so get ready.
Yes, I have those ready somewhere on here, Jim.
Why would you just go straight to that? We're talking
Yeah,
about.
I mean,
comics.
come on, Jimmy, you're killing us.
Hold on, George. You got a movie poster for the
The
kitchen?
kitchen.
Yeah,
You have a trailer for that?
Well, better
Don't worry.
question. Better
I'm
question.
sorry. I'm
Do you know what
Jimmy,
the kitchen is?
You talked a little bit about this cover
Oh yeah,
also.
that's the Dave Dorman one.
Yeah, this is the Jungle Comics. So this originally it wasn't Kickstarter. It's one of those other like the Kickstarter knockoffs.
It was like
that they-
Indiegogo or whatever.
Oh yeah, Indiegogo. So those covers were available for $10 when they released them through the Indiegogo page, and I had posted a link up for that. They still haven't shipped those out yet, so I'm waiting for that cover. But that's a cover that's heated up nicely on the secondary market, and I think the original art was going for $4,000 on that Dave Dorman cover.
It was selling for what, $30 or $40?
Yeah, I think $30-$40. I know. Again, it's off my laptop. I mean,
it's weird that they'd sell them for
phone.
10 because comic book stores could buy them for 25.
So they were from the Indiegogo page. If you were in on that page, if you got in, you got those sent to you as part of their. That was one of the $10 options to get that or to get a print. So they're selling those were $10 at the time. So I know a lot of people who follow the comic DeSPECtive on MeWe. You can. I try to give out some of those like links sometimes on there, but I still haven't gotten mine. So maybe they're no good. Who knows?
Well, I mean, they probably had to print them and then they have to ship them out. I don't know. I know Antarctic Press isn't that great at shipping stuff on time with some stuff, but who knows? Who knows with the Indiegogo stuff? But I'm sure they're on their way. What's going on with you?
So was that a painted cover? Is that why it was $4,000?
Yeah,
seems like a lot for
Well, again, it's Dave Dorman is like. I mean, remember his Star Wars covers?
Yeah. He's a great artist, but I mean, you can get a hot artist for $4,000.
Yeah. Again, it's like good girl art, right?
Like I don't think you understand how original art works. John.
You're right. Is that original art? Oh,
yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's like a painting.
Come on.
It's Dave Dorman. That's how much his paintings go for.
You could frame it in your house, in your living room.
I'm saying, that's how much they go for, or that's how much he's asking for them?
That's how much you're asking. So that was one of on the Indiegogo page.
I bet it's still for sale too.
I think it is. Yeah.
Oh,
that's
well, it's not going. This is how Jimmy looks.
All he has to do is sell like 1 or 3 paintings a year, and he just keeps like 100 or 150 of them available for sale. I mean, that's fine. He doesn't sell a few of them.
He sells 3 paintings a year at $4,000.
I guess.
This guy eats cat food or what? That's all he does.
I assume he gets.
He's living off the Star Wars money. He's living off the Star Wars money. Come on, John.
I mean, listen, if that's how much he wants to ask for his paintings, I mean, good for him.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You can ask whatever you want.
But
I feel like you can get I mean, I could have got a David Mack published cover for under $2,000.
Yeah, but who cares about David Mack at this point?
I like his stuff a lot. I mean, the Dave Dorman is a lot better than a David Mack cover. Obviously, there's a lot more detail in it.
There's one other book that I don't think anybody has been talking about. Let me see if I can do this in an effective way. Bada bing.
Comes to a screeching.
Oh, and that's
23. Oh,
it's the last issue of the run.
The Ashley Witter cover, right?
That's what it looks like. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think this is a no-brainer to just buy a copy. It's got a black background. Never can tell where this will go. She is not hot right now, but maybe sometime here soon.
You're talking about X-23 or Ashley Whittier?
Both.
Both.
Right?
Yeah, X-23 will definitely.
X-23 is going to rebound, and I think they're great on that particular cover. And you never can tell where either her career or that character are going to go, but I think they both have bright futures.
Gary, did you read any of that series?
X-23?
Yeah, the new series.
I read a few, and then that whole when they went back to the clone sisters again, I got off of it. I think again, Honey Badger is an interesting character out of that run. I think that you could see her pop up in something like one of the younger Marvel team books coming up. But I don't know if they're going to develop that character further in the MCU as they go along. She'll pop up again, but maybe she's peaked. I know that I felt badly getting rid of my Knicks issues way too early back in the day. So I'm a little gun shy in that character, to tell you the truth. Yeah, I don't really know what to do with her.
I haven't read any of that series that's apparently ending. I liked the last series, but there was Tom Taylor was the writer on that. That was a real good series. I hate how Marvel does that. They just end stuff for no reason.
Yeah.
Even I was reading a Miss Marvel series and they ended it, and then I read the #1 issue for the next one, and it just picked up where the last issue left off. Like it wasn't even a restart of the story or anything. I was like, so you're blatantly just restarting at once just to sell them.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know.
what Marvel's doing. Yeah,
It's hard to be it's very hard to be a Marvel fan right now.
They're
with what they
glutting the
do.
market, right?
Yeah.
They're putting so much product out there that they're figuring everybody will want one thing of there. And then I'm not going to go on about the 1 to 25 second prints, but that's going to kill pretty much everything down the line. We know that, right? Like let's not rehash that again. But $85 1 to 25 second prints is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Well,
one last thing about
I think the
like
big
guy didn't get any. Man.
Yeah.
Well, no, the big goof I think was especially with Immortal Hulk, Immortal Hulk 2, where it was going to be a Alex Ross black and white trade dress, and then they switched it for no reason.
Yeah.
I'm wondering what happened there because it does seem very odd. I like that black and white cover because it had the like fluorescent green trade dress. I thought it looked really cool.
That's the only one that like you would like. So that's why I don't get it.
I think something happened.
I think most of the second prints and third prints are going to end up in the dollar bin, whereas these variants might end up having a longer life because who's going to order these third and fourth prints variants? So who knows?
Hey guys, before we get too far down the second print ratio variant suck hole, with respect to Honey Badger, this is how cold the character is. All new Wolverine #2, CGC 9.8, live auction May 31st, ended at $107.
Wow.
It may be the opportune time to buy.
Yeah, I think there's a future for the character. It's a fun character. Yeah, that's low though. Because what was it going for? 300?
Absolutely.
Like
it was
when
going,
it got
for double
for no reason.
Easy double that. And I think what's going to be interesting is you're going to see they're coming back out with those. They're not amalgam characters, but who are the characters who popped up during Infinity Wars, like Weapon Hex and all those? Remember those characters?
Mm-hmm. There was a Ghost Rider one.
Yeah, they had that. So those guys are all coming back in annuals now. They're getting ready to bring those back. So if anyone grabbed any of those series where you had first appearances, I know a lot of people were going on about Speed Weasel, which is like the poor man's sort of the poor man's Honey Badger, if you can imagine that, right? Going to a third tier character, but she was out in the Weapon Hex 2 that came out, so you're going to see these characters popping up again. So if you held on to these, if you have any of those that Infinity Wars books that came out and they had all these little one shots coming out, this might be the time to start pulling those out of the boxes because all of the annuals will be featuring those characters again because that's a whole separate universe they created. So
you're trying to say that's the only, this is your first, last, and only opportunity to get rid of those books?
Yeah. I'm saying that if you go on eBay now, you get a great deal from, just check out my eBay page. But George, I know one thing that we'd spoken about was some of these, I think some of the X characters are really undervalued, and I know that was we're going to start seeing these X characters start popping up now with the merging of all of the film companies coming out. So I was thinking, like, who are those characters that we're going to start seeing pop up on a regular basis? And I was looking, I was really surprised. Like Betsy Braddock, 9.8 in Captain Marvel 8. Captain Britain 8, really tough book to find, $2,000. I was looking at Kitty Pryde, White Queen, Uncanny X-Men 129, close to $2,000 on a recent sale. But as I dug through, Avengers Annual 10, right? Rogue, first appearance. Rogue takes Captain Marvel's powers there. That seems to me like a really interesting storyline and an interesting book and an interesting character. I think it went for like $400, the last 9.8 on Rogue's first appearance in Avengers Annual 10. So if you're looking for undervalued characters, Rogue is someone I think who has not been developed in the MCU. They have to somehow depower Captain Marvel, right? She's like so powerful. So maybe they bring Captain Marvel somehow over into the X-Men universe to bring that around. That's something I've been looking at. I've been picking up cheap Avengers Annual 10s, finding near mint plus copies, get those slabbed, and that you may make some money on those.
Yeah, people have been pitching that as an undervalued book for a long time.
Yeah.
And it's hard to disagree.
But you think they're gonna recast Rogue?
I think,
yes.
Yeah, Anna Paquin. I mean, that. Where is she? What's she done lately?
She's done. But I think
with the piano.
I think you have a better shot speculating on female X-Men, people from specific foreign countries, because Marvel shown a tendency to whatever you want to call it.
Luna Snow, is that what you're trying to bring up? I mean, I know how much we all love Luna Snow.
Oh,
How about here we go. You see White Fox, Contest of Champions, the cover appearance. I think that was the 1/25. The issue 1 variant for that one. So she's one of those characters that popped up obviously in Ages of Atlas. One of those books actually from this week that came out, issue 2, Swordmaster, heating up a little bit, right? That character's heating up. But I think White Fox, we saw her pop up in the Domino Hotshots book, and then we're seeing her again come up in Ages of Atlas. Maybe this is one of those characters that we see sort of take off a little. And this is a tough cover to find as well. So that's one that you can look out for.
Yeah, a lot of people are pushing Contest of Champions 1 right now, for not for the reasons that you're saying. But yeah, I do think that 1/25 is probably a good buy.
Yeah. And there are a couple of them. There's a Mark Bagley cover too. Don't buy that one. That's like a Luke Cage cover. So don't grab that one.
Sorry, what was that, John?
What are they pushing?
I don't know. I saw it on Key Collector a few times, and I can't remember why. It was there for they put it there for some reason. Like it says it's first appearance of somebody or some kind of It's a speculative play.
Yeah, there's another.
I never didn't really understand it. So
I think it's Guillotine is the character. Who's another first
appearance? Yes, the French character, right? She's in like a backup story, I think, in that issue as well.
Yeah. Every time I find a Contest of Champions 1, I then look it up on eBay, and they're never selling. So I'm like, I'm not going to buy this. So
you don't buy it.
That's my copy, Jimmy. Buy it.
No, I understand that. I understand that, but I have copies of Contest of Champions 1. But when I come across it in boxes, I'm like, is this a good book to be buying? And then I never agree that it is. So.
Well, when I talked about it a couple weeks ago, I wasn't sure if White Fox was in it, so I did go back and read it. She is in it like it's kind of like a mini story inside the book, maybe 6 pages or something. Mm-hmm. And then at the end of it, it's one big splash page, and she says White Fox, whatever. So yeah, I think it's a good book. It's definitely a $1 book still.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You know what? And I don't want to take the show off the rails here, but so I have an interesting one. I heard you guys talking a little bit.
It's too late for that, Gary. I don't even know who these characters are.
Yeah, that's all right, George. You're more the classic. Don't worry. We're gonna get into the horror pretty soon, so don't worry.
Yeah, we're talking about White Fox. What's wrong with White Fox? You don't understand White Fox, Luna Snow?
Just put up the screen and start going through covers.
Yeah, George. We'll stop talking, but I know that you brought up last week Starling, right? Like, did you bring up the character Starling and Miles Morales?
The new character.
I believe what I said was there's some new character in here. I don't know who the fuck they are. I think it's this person on the cover.
Yeah,
and it is in fact. I later learned Starling. Jimmy knows.
So she pops up in the end of issue 5, right? And I remember Jimmy. I think this was Jimmy. I'm going to quote you here, Jimmy. So, and I believe you. I believe I came up in that conversation as well, where you brought up the character of Glyph, right? Glyph showing up, and I think George, you threw some shade my way as well.
Oh, with issue 2, we were talking. Another podcast with Mel. Okay.
Let's look at that 2 ways.
I bought a bunch of number 2s, by the way.
Yeah, thanks, Jimmy.
I did. I can go pull them up. I told these guys
I'm not going to buy any number 2.
That's a sucker's bet, but anyway, never listen to what Mel says, because you know what he and I get drunk. He and I get drunk and hang out with each other, so that's a problem. But Glyph shows up in the exact John, don't go there. So Glyph shows up at the end of 1, right, on a subway station, introduces herself. We see the characters over her head. So that's a first appearance, right? And then she shows up in 2, full appearance. But now we're hearing on the other end, same exact kind of thing. Issue 5, Miles Morales. We see at the end of that, Starling shows up, same exact way. I'm the Starling, pulls in. And then issue 6, she shows up full appearance. People are saying that's the first full 6. 5, she shows up. But at the other end, you're looking at Glyph showing up at the end of 1. Shows up at 2 the exact same way, but 1 is the first appearance. So I think in the market right now, it's sort of the Wild West out there. Who's determining what those first appearances are? Who's determining cameos? Who's determining first full? I think there's a lot of uncertainty out there, and I think a lot of these, Key Collector, you're seeing a lot of the other sites out there. I don't want to pick on Nick I've done that enough on on forums, but I think that we're seeing a push one way.
What does that mean?
I don't know what that means.
Is his theory true?
It's a theory. I think
no.
That,
is his theory true that you're RMA on the CGC boards?
No. Okay. So that's what I want to go back to too. So I never heard of this RMA, and I've never been on the CGC boards.
No, RMA is just a notorious troll. I think he was kicked off of the CBCS board.
Oh no.
I think it was like I don't agree with why he was banned off the CBCS boards, but he was banned off there, and he's just like a prolific guy on the CGC board. So when they accused him of being you,
prolific,
that was last week.
Wow.
Right? I just thought that was really funny. But
I heard that come up, and again, I think I've put 2 posts in my life on the CGC boards, and both is my name, Gary Nusser. So just so you know, and the only other alias I've ever had on anything, I think I signed up as like Kamikaze on Comics Heating Up. So that's the only. I don't. Why do I need an alias for? What do I need to? Everything I put on my MeWe page, I stand behind. I buy books. I rarely sell books. Check out my eBay page. What am I? I'm Comic DeSPECtive or InvizKid. Check me out on one of those pages. But I have no need to go out there.
Guy, I think on Chew, that's the guy that's always trolling on Mel's picks for the week.
Yeah, that's probably me.
Hey guys, hey guys. Rather than go down the rabbit hole of all of the crazy nonsense that occurs in the greater world of the CGC board / all of the other strange shit, let's return back to this first appearance, cameo appearance. And I think, for me, there's sort of like telltale signs for how you can at least in some kind of predictive fashion figure out where you should go with these things, right? So I think if it's a new book and you have what would traditionally be perceived as a cameo, but it's a number 1, you go with the number 1. If it's an older book and you have a cover appearance, or if it's a newer book and you have a cover appearance by the character, that's where you go. And if the CGC label says it's a first appearance, that's where to hedge your bet. And I mean, I'm just being honest, like, right?
Well, now, the other thing you're missing,
those are not bright line rules, but I think like those are some of the indicators for trying to make safer, more educated bets.
The other thing you left out was the cover appearance. If say they got a cameo in the issue before and then they're on the cover of the next one, that's where people get a little blind. To
I thought I said that.
I wasn't listening.
Okay.
Well, so Swordmaster appeared on the first issue cover of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or Agents of Atlas, right? And then, but number 2, he actually appears in the story, so that's the one that people are buying, I guess.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Nico's always trying to get this formula down, but I don't think there is one. I think it's just.
It's very situational. I don't necessarily look for rules that are always correct. What I'm looking for are some bright line rules and indicators to like think about, and what militates or gravitates in favor of one finding as opposed to another. So you can kind of hedge your bets in sort of an intelligent way.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah, and I think you have to buy, I think you have to hedge your bets and buy, both, right? So when you're buying those books, buy 1 and 2. Buy Miles Morales 5 and 6, right? Get them both, package them together, and then you end up, you're making a sale either way. You're taking care of it. But CGC, I think, is the indicator right now of everything in the market. CGC is sort of the Bible of that, right? If it's on a label, it's
the other
legit.
thing with them is,
unfortunately, and they have been wrong.
No, of course, and who are they going to for that? Who are the?
And we may have talked about this later or earlier, rather, but they are slow to announce first appearances now.
Yeah.
Which I kind of like. And sorry, guys, I got some hail and major lightning and thunder happening here. So if my window cracks open, that means the tornado is here. So
yeah, Gary, you're our first guest. If we manage to kill you, there'll be petitions to try to get other guests live on here in kind of like a snuff film sort of way. Like,
this will be a collector's edition.
The comic book wars can get rid of these. Can you get rid of this guy next, guys?
Yeah. I'll give you a list of people. And who's this guy I'm supposed to be again? RGA. What's the name on this? Because I got to go back and look at.
Oh no! Oh no!
I'm really. I heard that. And I'm like, oh well, that's great. I'm glad my name's being thrown out there, and that I have that much time on my hands to be coming up with aliases. So that's great.
It's nice that you're such a prominent figure within the speculation community that your name is on the tip of people's tongues. You've been making an impact with the DeSPECtive.
I think it's no secret that back on the G Plus pages, I was a big CBSI guy. I love CBSI. I wrote articles there for a while. I think the big issue with CBSI that I had was I used to go on the forums and I used to throw some names under the bus and say, like, I don't think this person's right. I don't think that's right. And I understand CBSI was going in a direction where it's very corporate and they wanted to be in an area where they had advertisers. I don't do any of that. I just I love comics. I've collected since 1985. I put my stuff out there. I have, if you look behind me, like I said, I guess you can see the boxes up there. This is like the office area. But then I have like 30 long boxes downstairs, and I read comics, and I love comics, and I don't do this just to make money. I have a job. I make money off my job. What I make off here, I go on vacations, right? But I think I have like 70 followers on my MeWe page, so it's like a drop in the bucket. I'm looking at Comic Tom. He's like 3,000 views. I got like 12 views on my last YouTube video of MeWe. But I don't do it for that. I do it because I love the hobby. I love the infectiousness of it. And like I said, what you guys are doing on this site, I think it's better than anything that I'm watching out there. And again, I have not been paid for this appearance. I was not the winner of the giveaway. So
don't worry, he'll get paid on the back end. We'll pay him on the back end.
Yeah. But I like Drunken. I like my boy Lucas on Drunken. I saw the Drunken Heroes appearance. So now and then I'll tune into him as well over there. Lucas Fashina, I think his name is.
Yeah.
He's a good guy.
Yeah,
we gotta get you on there then, Gary.
Yeah, I'm usually I tend to I'm a family guy. I have a couple kids. I have my wife. I work in the education system, so I don't have a lot of time for late evenings, but. This is already. I'm burning the midnight oil over here for me. So you know how it goes.
I'm old too, Gary. I'm usually in bed by the time UD starts.
All right, we're gonna be losing our viewers here. Let's move on to some specs.
Don't worry, we don't have any.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. All right. Can we talk about two books that have been getting a lot of interest as a result of various rumors about alleged appearances in MCU films? The two books I'm thinking about are, a film and a Disney Plus show. The books are Captain America number 275, the first appearance of Baron Zemo, and Thor number 134, the first appearance of the High Evolutionary. Yeah. What do you guys think about those as buys now? Were they good buys before, or did you have any confidence in any of the stuff that you're hearing about, the television shows on Disney Plus, or the allegations about which direction Guardians of the Galaxy 3 or some of these other movies are going to take? Because you hear everything from Dark Avengers, Young Avengers, New Avengers, High Evolutionary, you know what I mean? And frankly, the only guy who seems to have footprints that are at least recent in time is Warlock, and nobody's talking about him at all.
Yeah. Anybody? So I think those rumors about a guy who was a guy who's been on Twitter, right? Who's been pretty spot on with saying that like these people would appear in Avengers Endgame. This popped up. So there's a lot of credence in some of these rumors. I think first of all, Baron Zemo, right? Tie into the Thunderbolts. We've seen a lot of the
Thunderbolts. Can you explain that one to me?
Yeah. So they've said that Thunderbolts is the next phase of MCU. We're going to see Thunderbolts pop in. We know Baron Zemo was the.
Is that confirmed, or is that still rumored?
No, not at all. But the guy who has tweeted this out has apparently he's been right in like I think like 5 or 6 things that have popped up in the last couple of years, which in the comic spec business is probably is pretty high. Baron Zemo, we know that Thunderbolts, when that came out, Citizen V, they had this whole reveal. They had these heroes come out. That's a great premise for Marvel to use. I'm thinking though, maybe they're looking at the next incarnation of the Thunderbolts. We don't know where they're going to go. Maybe they're looking at that Venom, Elektra, that version of Thunderbolts that came out.
Where Elektra and Punisher are in like a relationship.
Red Hulk.
That's a much sexier, right? Like that's like Savage Avengers 1.0, right? Like, is that
Jimmy hates that storyline.
What about Dark Avengers though? They could do a Dark Avengers Thunderbolts storyline, no?
So what do you think about Avengers Disassembled as being the next sort of route of where they go, right? Like or was that really Endgame? Was Endgame their version of Avengers Disassembled, where all these heroes have sort of gone out, and now we're going to see these villains step up? But that's why Thunderbolts pops in as possibly a valid thing. You have these new heroes pop up.
What's Baron Zemo's relationship with Thunderbolts? Because I thought he's the General Ross who started the original.
No. So he ends up being the Citizen V in that Incredible Hulk issue. He ends up being when they unmask. He is Citizen V. He's the leader of the Thunderbolts.
Okay.
So that's who Baron Zemo is. And if you read that original series, I think Dark Avengers is really interesting. But again, you're looking at books that are hinge on people knowing these characters beforehand, right? It doesn't make any sense to put a Dark Avengers book together if you don't know who these characters are beforehand. Thunderbolts, if you're putting together you're introducing a new team, and all of a sudden you're going to say, oh, there's these villains. Nobody knows who these villains are, right? You haven't introduced them in the MCU yet. So it doesn't make a lot of sense for me to introduce that kind of team dynamic in there.
But you can always just say, look at Guardians of the Galaxy, and boom, there you go. Besides Thanos, but he wasn't really in the first one.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. So it's like I said, it's like 6 of one, half dozen of the other.
It's going to be Eternals for sure. Apparently they're banking a lot on Eternals.
Good luck. Again.
I know. I think if you look back at their history, they haven't really done wrong. But yeah, this next incarnation, Phase 4, I'm not excited about any of these moves really.
I have one word for you.
Maybe a new Black Panther movie, but
Inhumans. Right? Inhumans. Yeah. Where did that go? So to me, Inhumans is like Eternals 2.0, or reverse that, whatever way.
Right.
Eternals is Inhumans 2.0. Who cares? Who cares? Icarus, all these characters. Angelina Jolie. I mean, come on.
Are those Inhumans episodes even on like streaming sites?
I have not seen any sign of them.
I think Marvel has put them in a locker and is like, this never happened.
They buried them with the Ark. They're in the Ark in that warehouse.
Which is weird,
right?
because we don't have DVDs anymore, so there's no way of seeing those unless you saw them or you download them illegally. That's very weird. Like I haven't seen those on any streaming service. So that's something.
That's true. Yeah, they probably did just say, forget about that. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it is Disney now, and they do have that vault, right, that they open sometimes to release DVDs. Remember when they used to do that in the 90s?
The old cartoons would come out, right?
Yeah. They're like, it's limited time until we close the vault.
Yeah, there they go.
Maybe one day they'll come out, but that's really funny. Yeah, you don't hear anything about the Inhumans. I think with these new ones like the Eternals, or is that where we are? Eternals? Yeah. Nobody knows anything about the Eternals at all. So there's a big thing, like there's a big interpretation that they can do anything really with it. I don't know.
It's a great blank slate, right? To pop them in. What about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. still running, right? Somehow, right? How is that? How is that still a series? I tuned in the other day. They're in space. Stuff's happening over there. How is that show still going on?
They've been in space for a while.
But I know now they're all like I tuned in. They're like gambling. They're doing some. But who's watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
It turned into Marvel's version of Star Trek somehow.
Supernatural is still on, right?
I'll take your word for it.
That still,
I think it is, unless it just ended.
I think
I'm pretty sure
Supernatural 25 seasons.
Yeah, Supernatural went on forever. So I recently watched the Captain Marvel movie, and I guess like that has tie-ins to the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. because Coulson's in that show, right? So I could see if people really were into that character and into S.H.I.E.L.D., I could see how that could still have a following. I mean,
isn't it like
the Big Bang
isn't it like
Theory.
a robot Coulson though, or clone Coulson though?
I
Because
don't
he died
in what?
on the TV show. I think.
I don't know. I don't know what's going on in the Marvel
Did
universe.
you say supernatural? Did you say supernaturals or supernatural?
Oh,
Jimmy?
doesn't that have
There's
like
another.
How did you get that so fast? That's funny.
I had that come
Yeah.
out. I have all my boxes right here, ready to go, all alphabetical, ready. Come on, Jimmy, throw them out.
But yeah, no, Supernatural is
Supernaturals.
garbage.
That's a nice. It's good artwork in that.
Yeah,
It's,
that Jim Ballant, right? Of
No,
Catwoman and
not
what?
Jim.
What's that?
No.
Tarot? No,
No, Taro.
Come
That's
on,
not
that's
Jim
that.
Ballant, is it?
That's that cover right there. That's Jim Ballant right there.
Who
Yeah.
does the interiors? Though?
That's a great
'Cause I think
question.
I got him to. I got an original art piece by him.
I got
But
the one with this has a Ghost Rider mask in here too, so this is very rare. It says on the cover, so be ready. I'm gonna check it.
You might want to hold on to that as a collector's item.
This is an original. You know, all my books that I have, I bought back in the 80s and 90s. So there's that Ghost Rider cover. Come on, there's a Ghost Rider mask that's still in there.
That's cool. That's cool. Put it on. Put it on.
Yeah. I'm not going to ruin this. I can't ruin this book. Come on.
I'll get you another one for a quarter next week.
Wait a minute. Come on. It's right in the split here. Come on. I can't break this book up.
No, that's funny.
You know, yeah. All right, George, you've been very quiet here, George. Come on, throw some stuff
That's
out.
because I don't really know what the fuck you guys are talking about.
It's all right.
Geez.
Yeah.
Were you
Okay,
talking
so
about Major X again? Did you want to get into those Wolverine
no.
covers? No.
Wait, okay,
Let's
so-
throw those out. Let's throw that shit out.
So sorry,
Well-
the High Evolutionary. How is?
Oh.
That's supposed to appear in what? What are we thinking?
Guardians of the Galaxy.
In Guardians of the Galaxy. Okay.
What's the allegation?
No, that's what I was asking. Okay, so that's supposed to happen in
I mean,
Guardians
I
of
can
the Galaxy.
respond
Okay.
if you want, but yeah, the suggestion is that the High Evolutionary will be some sort of a character that's used as a plot device to both introduce Beta Ray Bill and provide some sort of backstory for Rocket Raccoon's creation. Again, I don't know how viable or reliable any of those rumors are. But it's just like one of those things that are interesting to me. Similarly, the suggestion is that we'll see the Mandarin appear as the villain in Shang-Chi. So there's like all of those kinds of things, and none of those books have really gone super bananas yet. One book that did go kind of wild, and I think I talked to the three of you about it, is, and this kind of ties back to Gary's discussion of like, what's a first appearance? What's a cameo appearance? When does the market decide it's a full appearance? Who knows? Ghost Rider #2, the first appearance of Damian Hellstrom, somebody paid $1,700 for a CGC 9.8 in a live auction, which I was just floored about. One, its TV spec, and two, I don't know. Has anybody spent any serious time reading Hellstrom comics? I mean, I can't think of like a single story arc that
In the
I
90s. Yeah,
but I was a child.
Sons of Vengeance.
No, because they're bad, and even the artwork is like. I don't know,
No, the
it's not
artwork's
that great.
good. I was looking at
I disagree.
the Sons of Vengeance. It's Adam Kubert, I think.
Gary, you were old enough to have like read those
Thanks.
Hellstrom comics in a way that was intelligent, as opposed to me looking at the pictures and sticking them back in a poly bag. You know what I mean? Like, what was going on?
You know what? Again, I don't see it. I know you know that cover that's sort of like the it looks like it's like a bronze cover, right? The first issue of the Damien Hellstrom that came out in the 1990s.
It's like a brown paper, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
To me, that's a character that who's interested in that character, right? Like people want to see Ghost Rider, they want to see Blade, they want to see these street level characters developed. I brought up this book, this Rise of the Midnight Suns.
Mm-hmm.
This is the so this was a retailer book that came out before the Midnight Suns books all came out, and what this essentially had. Yeah. So this had
that's like a that's
can
like
you
a
see
teaser.
it? Yeah. So this was a teaser that had pieces of all of. So it had Ghost Rider 28, 29, Spirits of Vengeance 1, Morbius 1, Darkhold 1, Night Stalkers, and then all the trading card illustrations were sort of in the back of it, right? So you can see sort of this was a book that was given out to retailers. A lot of retailers threw this book out. It was not a book that a lot of people held on to at all. I found some little shop that was selling it out. I bought the copy for like I think $19. But this was the first official appearance of the Midnight Suns. If you're going to go anywhere, if you've been watching what Greg Smallwood does, like Greg Smallwood has been putting up on his, he's off Twitter, but his Instagram page, he's been putting up all these 1970s like retro Blade and Ghost Rider sort of covers up. I think you're going to see Midnight Suns come back, either Donny Cates, Greg Smallwood. That is going to be the next book that Marvel's going to be launching. Don't go for any of those Midnight, what was it?
Sons of Vengeance.
Yeah, Sons of Vengeance, the Ghost Rider books. Those were so
Spirits
overprinted.
of Vengeance.
Spirits of Vengeance. That was those books were so overprinted. There are books out there to look for. Again, you can find this book. It's cheap. It's I know some people are not into these kind of preview books. I know if Topher were here, he would be like totally
creaming his shorts.
Yeah, you know that. But it's fine. I think that's the next sort of, now all of these Netflix series have died out, right? You don't have all these street level characters. Well, where do you go? Like, let's go that way. Like that to me is money in the bank for Marvel. Whether it becomes streaming or it's a movie, why not go that way? Supernatural? Because you've gone cosmic already, right?
Yeah. But it's just, why are they using Robbie Reyes?
Yeah.
I mean, I just think it's because they don't want to cut out Nicolas Cage and they still want to use him, and I don't think they can use him for a TV show. I mean, those movies, all of them made money, right?
Well,
none of them didn't make money.
Just put a peanut butter and jelly sandwich on the set, and Nicolas Cage would show up?
Jesus.
What does that even mean?
Jimmy, you know, we've talked about Mandy in the past, so come on, don't go
but
there.
what does that mean? What does that? Well, you leave a sandwich and Nicolas Cage shows up? That doesn't make sense.
He had to sell his comics to pay his taxes.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
Lord
and
have
it
mercy.
got the #1, and it was the highest graded action comics of all time.
Yeah.
And then it was
and then
the sale, and then the second sale, and
so
what did he? I don't know. I thought another.
He has like 2 copies of it. I thought. Gary, you know what's funny though, because I think Midnight Suns is gonna be something like you're saying. So I looked up. I was trying to figure out where their actual first appearance was, and I think it's Ghost Rider 30. And there's only like 5 of those graded in 9/8, which is crazy. Probably because it's polybag, and also nobody like would want to get it graded. But I think it's an interesting there's some of these books that 90s books that people are like, oh, there's just too many of them. Nobody wants those books. You get an X-Force 1 and 9/8, you can get $100 for that any day of the week, maybe more. Preach. So I think that's a good one to look out for.
Yeah, but how much in 9/6?
Probably have to pay somebody to take it.
To take it off your hands. Johnny Blaze, right? They're getting ready for him to come back. He was look back at that Damnation series, right? The Donny Cates Damnation. Seemed like a little nothing series. It had Doc Strange. It had all these Ghost Rider characters, Ghost Rider incarnations of Marvel characters. Johnny Blaze becomes the king of hell at that point, right? He's about to encounter the Avengers again. If you read the last issue of Avengers, which I said, read your books, guys, you see that Gorilla Man is actually, he has been, he's working for, like, he's sort of cursed, right? Like Gorilla Man is cursed for life, but he's working for Dracula. And we see that whoever that dog was, Sarge, was that the name of the dog in the Avengers vampire thing that just happened? We find out Gorilla Man is cursed and working for Dracula. Ghost Rider, the King of Hell, is about to come back and go against Robbie Reyes. So we're going to see that come back into sort of fruition. So I think looking back at that Damnation, and looking back, there was a Damnation one-shot. It was a Ghost Rider Damnation one-shot with Johnny Blaze, where he becomes the King of Hell. That might be a book to look for because it's about to come back in a big way. You have Jason Aaron writing the Avengers. A lot of people.
Gorilla Man?
Gorilla Man is he's a character who. He's way back. He goes. He dates over 3 Gorilla Mans. This guy is Ken something. I forget the name, but basically he killed the Gorilla Man, and he became the Gorilla Man. So the curse happens with you when you kill Gorilla Man. So he then popped up in the Agents of Atlas. Irony there that Agents of Atlas is back again. He was the Agent of Atlas that Jeff Parker did, and in fact, they're going to have a short story in the new Agents of Atlas book coming out. I saw solicited, but Gorilla Man is he's part of this Agents of Wakanda that Black Panther is running over in Avengers right now. So you're going to see him pop up again. You're going to see Johnny Blaze pop up again. These characters are going to, they keep recycling them. They're going to rehash. Again.
Hellstrom was in the Venom series. Kate's Venom series. I think it was issue 8. Is that right?
And
where,
I think
Venom gets the Hellstrom.
He gets the what is that called? The Hellmark. The Hellmark is on him, right? Yeah. So he gets that Hellmark, and they actually had that cover on Venom on a recent Venom issue. And Ryan Stegman said he just did that because he thought it looked cool. There was no connection to that. But you're going to see. I'm not the biggest old school Venom fan, but Mania. Does anyone know Mania?
Oh yeah.
So Mania is coming back in a one-shot in the Carnage Reborn series. She does not have a symbiote anymore, but she does have she has a Hellbrand, right? That Hellbrand is going to pop up again in that series. So look out for that character. Look out for I know she popped up in Venom. That's another one of those weird first appearances. She's on a staircase, says hi to Eddie Brock, and then walks
she's just normal. She's a normal woman at that point, and then. So the one you want is the one that's got the 3 bars across it, where she's on the bottom jumping.
Yeah, I know exactly. I've been picking up those Venom issues, Agents of Venom. Venom is a series, and again, I don't want to go down the rabbit hole, but go on my MeWe page, check out the whole thing on because Carnage is popping up now, right? You got Venom, you got Carnage, but you have this whole Abyss. You have Null coming back. Look at those issues that I spoke about. Nova 8. First mention of the Abyss, Secret Avengers 2 and 3, 29, 30, 31, is going to tie back into what Donny Cates is doing. He loves to bring that stuff into play. This is where you're seeing the first mentions of the Abyss, Null, the Void. All of these things are coming back into play. God is coming, right? Hashtag God is coming. He keeps quoting out there. Donny Cates is the best at hyping up his own stuff. Watch for those books to pop up. And again, I'm not going to go into major detail. I don't have the books on hand, but check out the MeWe page and you'll see those books on there. All right.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Oh, that's good. That's good. That is good.
The one and only comic DeSPECtive.
Yes.
Yeah, great.
Tying it all together.
And that's what I love. I mean, the comic DeSPECtive is sort of looking at new books, but tracking back those old books, because that's what creators like Donny Cates, Jason Aaron, Al Ewing, I spoke about the heat off Hulk has died off incredibly, right? Like we're seeing books die, like Naomi died on the vine, Die by Stephanie Hans died on the vine. The Immortal Hulk dying on the vine right now. But watch those Immortal Hulk issues where like the Green Door popped up. Watch those Immortal Hulk issues where you're going to see now Rick Jones coming back as the Abomination, right? All of those books have sort of, it looks like everyone's looking for the next big thing, and they're sort of like they're dropping these books. Pick those books up as soon as they drop back down. Grab them, because Naomi's coming back. I think Naomi is going to be part of the Legion of Superheroes. I've been professing that either she or the aged up John Kent. Why age up Jonathan Kent? Because you have Superboy, you have Connor coming back in Young Justice. You can't have two Superboys going around. So why not send John Kent aged up into the future, Legion of Superheroes? Naomi, Legion of Superheroes. That's coming back. Bendis is bringing that back. Grab those issues up. I'm grabbing Convergence. I'm grabbing Lois and Clark. I'm grabbing every issue that first appearance of John Kent, because he's all over the board in there. And why age that character up? That's why he did it. I guarantee it.
I mean, I don't have much faith at all in the speculative value of Immortal Hulk, but I do think that the suggestion that there's a future with the Legion of Superheroes makes sense, because I don't think that DC or Warner Brothers is going to try to go back down the Justice League storyline again. If they're going to do something on the big screen in any sort of like team focused way, I think it'll have to be a Legion of Superheroes. And I don't know that that'll necessarily happen overnight, and I certainly don't want people to run out and spend $120 for a Naomi #1. But if it's a $60 price point, I don't think that it's necessarily a bad buy.
Yeah.
For raw?
For raw copies, $60.
That's crazy. The
Yeah,
book's not even. When did that come out? December. I guess
it's a
I guess
a
this
new
has
book.
been a couple books like
Similarly,
Ghost Rider. Those books
right.
kind of jumped up.
Yeah, and I mean, in other words, I don't think you're going to lose money at that point. You might have your money held up, but I don't think you're going to lose. With respect to Die, I love that book.
I did.
As a long-term investment play.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just bought another number one. I bought a Virgin.
And she's researching that, right? Yeah, that's Stephanie Hans has been like she's buying all these D&D like old guidebooks. She's researching that book along with Kieran Gillen writing that book.
And yes. Kieran Gillen wrote the Avengers screenplay. She's got Hollywood ties. I think she's just biding her time for the right deal, and she'll either get a TV deal or a
it's a dude.
Okay, pardon me.
Did
I say sure?
It's all right. We know who you meant though.
Did I say she?
And you meant Stephanie Hans.
You're talking about Stephanie Hans. Yeah.
Jimmy left.
Really? I thought that was
Jimmy has peed his pants.
He wasn't talking about Stephanie Hans. He wasn't.
No,
he was
but we were
talking. Were women.
I'm trying to help you out, George. I'm helping you out here.
You were telling. I mean, I give people the benefit of the doubt, and I don't want anyone.
I read it.
God forbid Jimmy ever give me the benefit of the doubt.
I read an interview how they like out after a con and were like reminiscing about how they're both D&D nerds and they were talking about doing the book.
So
I thought it was two women, honestly.
No, Kieran Gillen, who I guess Wicked and Divine is what he's really known for, also and he did stuff with Jamie McKelvey back in the day. Phonograph is a great series. Again, things I pick up. I think Phonograph is something that could pop up down the line.
Yeah, what's your buying it on Wicked and Divine #1s?
I think they're you can have them for a song. You can buy them super cheap. I have tons of Wicked and Divine, probably way too much Wicked and Divine. But I kind of think what killed that book was American Gods. I think American Gods, a very similar storyline of these gods that are sort of like interacting with humans at the time. I think, again, it was a big budget, right? For American Gods. Plus,
that show is great.
Huge budget. Huge name attached to it, and it doesn't really go anywhere.
But when
I watched it,
it got based in the future.
Yeah,
and it has more to deal with it has more to deal with sexual orientation and stuff.
Well, it's all about these like humans, right? Who pick up who they become like divine, right? And we're tracking this one girl who becomes sort of divine throughout there. I think that's been one of those series that has been constantly hyped up. I think it's at its lowest price. I think if you're into it, if you're a believer in Wicked Divine, now is the time to buy. You will not
$10 buy-in.
Yeah. It's and those are the books that you should be looking for, right? Like you shouldn't be looking for the books that have been brought up by other people. You should be digging through. Indie books have a very limited shelf life, and I think you guys have said that really well. I think Marvel and DC, they're going to be around forever because those characters are going to keep developing them again and again. I'm looking at I have like stacks here, right? Like I have stacks of what the hell is this book? Little Bird, right? Like Little Bird, Electric Black, all these series that are not really super on the public radar yet. Those are the books you should be buying. Another one, what's this book? Daybreak, right? Like Daybreak. This is Goldie Vance. These are books that they're developing. Long Lost. All of these indie books, buy them up now. Look for those. Look in the cheap dollar bins. Look on eBay. Just put in issue 1, put in Aftershock, put in Black Mask, put in all these titles. You're going to be able to dig up the cheap variant copies of these books right now. If you're chasing the books that are popping up on Comic Tom, Jim's Comics, on Key Collector, you're too late on those. You have to be setting the trend and finding those books that you think have a possibility to be developed. October Faction, is that a book that, to me, like everyone keeps bringing up Cullen Bunn's Harrow County, right? To me, October Faction, what a great book. Umbrella Academy.
But October Faction's being developed, right?
Yeah. It's
Wow.
being developed, but is anybody talking about it? No, because
Nope.
again, they get optioned, and then people jump to the next thing. Another book I love.
That B cover of October Faction #1's a
Oh my
pain
God.
in the ass to find.
Yeah, I have it somewhere in here.
It's all black too.
Yeah. Speaking of all black, well,
Is that
speaking
the
of all
one
black
with
covers, right? You remember this one?
Yeah.
Like a walk through hell, right?
Walk
Garth
Through
Ennis.
Hell, yeah.
Garth Ennis. The aftershock cover on this one. Infidel, image title that came out. Infidel is talk about a timely book. You want to find books that are timely and that they're
It's
looking
funny you
for.
bring that up today because I just saw Image had posted on their Instagram about that book, and
Yeah.
it was they kind of framed it very politically, and there
The
was
creator did an
about
interview with a website too
400
that came out today.
comments. Really?
Yeah, that was like, this is, it's it was basically a political message about the ills
People were
of
not
the
happy about
administration and so forth.
Oh, about the right Trumpism, right on there. But again, Infidel, just looking at that beautiful, and again,
They're
you
they're
got the version?
they're dirt cheap.
dirt cheap. Buy the
been optioned.
variant of Infidel now. Like buy these up, guys. There are 3 covers. This is a 1C cover, right? The Infidel cover. And again, when these, you have to be looking at the books that zag when they're zigging, right? Like don't go for what everybody else is going for right now.
Now, Infidel doesn't seem like a great play to me for one reason though. It's a standalone single movie.
It's a standalone single movie, but it's a horror book based around immigration, right? Like,
but that's comic spec, right? Like you're hoping for a movie, you sell before the movie, right? So I don't know.
It's been optioned, yeah. I mean,
It's been optioned if it gets made
when it moves into development.
I mean, a lot of things have been optioned.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about pre-code horror, Nico?
Yeah, I would. I'd like to just talk about Golden Age books generally and see how this stuff goes. So, Jimmy, have you kindly decided to stop embarrassing me for my inability to use the slideshow?
Go on.
I appreciate that.
I'll be back.
Hopefully, you are showing our first auction. Is that accurate?
Well, I'm showing the Crime Suspense Stories 22, which you can see.
So you can see that I can't see it actually. Let me see if I can click on you and figure out how to do that. All right, perfect. So a CGC 4/5 copy sold in a live auction for $3,255. The reason that I think this is interesting is there were a total of 4 copies of this book that were up in live auctions, 2 raw and 2 slabbed over the course of a 12 to 14-day period. The real interesting number is that second slide that Jimmy just showed, which is a heavily water-stained copy that sold for more than $1,000. I think what you're seeing is more and more collectors are wanting to put these books into their collection. They're looking for complete copies. They're not necessarily looking for high-grade copies, and that translates from pre-code horror to good girl art books as well. If you'll jump to the Spirit 22,
I like this one. This has always been a great. This has always been a classic.
That's a great one. Yeah.
It's one of, if not my favorite.
Like, what you gonna do with that knife?
Absolutely gorgeous, right? And this copy was up for less than 24 hours. In other words, it wasn't up long enough for me to make my mind if I wanted to try to dip into some cash and pick it up myself before it was gone.
What grade is it?
It is a 1.0, and it does not present well.
Yeah. It's got a lot of chipping on it, or is that just torn off?
Yeah.
I legitimately have absolutely no idea. But it's a blue label. And that's enough for most collectors. If we can go back one slide, Jimmy, what I think was the most interesting Golden Age sale in a long time is this one. A 2/5 restored copy of Black Cat number 50 sold in a live auction for $3,240.
Yeah.
I mean, that is astounding.
Did it say what the restoration was? Was it color touch? Or was it
heavy? It
says small amount of it looks like color touch. I can't really read that, but it says small amount of something. So it's either a small amount of glue or color touch, and it's 2 lines. So yeah, I think there's some color touch going on there.
No.
Though the spine does look clean, so it could be trimmed or something, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, guys.
Well, you
in
can't.
other words,
well, you
if
can't trim
if,
a spine because then the book.
if you
would
think
be-
that you're going to
That's
remove
why
the
I'm
restoration,
saying no. The spine looks fine. Like if you can see white on the spine, which is why I would say that there probably isn't any color touch on the spine. But that was why I was saying that. Although, and then if you look at this, it is a very, very straight.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So it could.
But
be
I'm not
trimmed.
saying, I'm not saying that it's trimmed on the spine. I'm just saying the spine, you can still see white on it. And
I know.
if there was color touch, you wouldn't see that.
I was just giving you a hard time.
I gotcha. I just wanted to clarify. I apologize for being a loser.
No clarification needed, Jimmy.
Yeah, we're good.
yeah.
Wow.
So
Wow.
hold on. Here, you ready, guys? Their restoration includes a small amount of cover touch on the color, small amount of glue on the spine of the cover, tape on the interior cover and centerfold. You are not going to be able to remove. CGC is not going to be able to remove that glue. It's a wrap. It's a purple label henceforth, and that's an astonishing number for this book. In a restored copy of this book, Black Cat number 50 has legitimately become the hottest book in pre-code horror, and maybe the hottest book on the market right now. Some traditional Golden Age comic collectors are outraged at the interest in this book, but there are a very small number of these books on the CGC census. I believe there are 3 restored copies and 22 other copies in total. And I think, again, what you're seeing is people just want a copy. And once these copies are gone, I don't know that anybody's going to be able to, pry them out of people's hands and get them back on the market. What's interesting is we've seen, at least in the last maybe 2 weeks or so, that a ton of big Golden Age books that you may see in a live auction on eBay once a year, maybe twice a year on some of the other sites like Heritage or Comic Link or Comic Connect, are all coming out and coming to market because of the giant surge. People are willing to come off these books, perhaps to buy in, to other more expensive books, or perhaps just to cash out.
Yeah, now is really a good time to be selling Golden Age books. So,
yeah, I think that's why you're seeing so many.
Yeah.
People are like, I can get how much? Yeah, I'll take the money.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you think it's a representation of where the market is headed, though, that people think this is the peak, or are they just getting their money to invest in something else? I don't know. We've kind of talked about this.
Yeah. Do you think it might be a reaction to, because of the swing over that these ridiculous prices being paid for modern books, that you're seeing the traditionalists going more toward saying, okay, I'm going to lay out money for these Golden Age books, right? I just had a friend the other day, if you could see this, I don't know, again, he had a vintage Mad Magazine collection cover, right? So he's looking now, this is a guy a little older than me, but these are books that he's looking to unload because he's seeing some of these ridiculous prices going for modern books now, and he's like, well, look, I have a full Mad Magazine run from 1 to issue like 30 from the original book run. I have what did he have? He had a lot of post Shock Fear, Tales of the Crypt books.
Cohort.
Yeah, all pre-code horror books. And so you have these guys who are seeing this ridiculous amount of money being paid for modern comics, and they're sitting on these books forever. Or they're guys who are just like have this thing along, and they're like, oh, I can cash out now. This is a retirement fund for me. So I think you have people on the other end of the spectrum, right? You have people buying Naomi for ridiculous prices, and then you have people who want to buy this pre-code horror, and it's two different audiences, right? Like the people who are buying Naomi ones for $80 and not the ones buying Black Cat 50. So you have you're marketing to 2 different audiences. I think I don't think it's the same audience you're looking at, the same crowd.
It's interesting that you say that, and Jimmy, John, please let me know what you think. But there's a number of people that talk about this idea, like that there are multiple different comic markets occurring at the exact same time.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And I don't understand why people don't get that. It seems like people are like, "Why would you pay that much for that comic when you could have this comic?" It's like maybe they don't want that. Maybe they have that already. Another one that's have you seen that? I think it's Heritage. The Albedo 2 9.8. It's at 31,000 currently.
Crazy.
Wow. That's the last issue, though, right? Or no? That's right. You said number 2. Sorry, that's first.
Yosagi Yojimbo.
Yeah, and that book or that character has been seeing a lot of interest recently. Whether that's because Dark Horse is now printing the series, or not Dark Horse, or IDW is now doing it. I doubt that's why, but people are gravitating towards that character out of nowhere. As same goes with Argonis original art. That has really started to spike in the last 3 years. Sergio Argonis.
Yeah.
Groot.
Yeah, not just his Gru stuff, even like stuff from Mad Magazine and like full panels and like full pinups and full page spreads are going for great chunks of change. So it seems like some of these people do have way bigger audiences than you would have thought.
That Star Wars book, right? Star Wars, Sergio Aragonés stomps the Star Wars universe or something like that. That book goes for crazy money. You can find it in long boxes all the time.
Yeah, I bought one at
one
Baltimore last year for like $2.
Yeah,
it's a good book.
Yeah, it's a great book. But
Nice.
Star Wars spec is dead, right? Like at least movie spec, TV spec. Start looking for the Lance the Hunter, right? He's popping back up again. He's going to be in canon now.
I sold some Knights of the Republic.
Number 1. Knights of the Old Republic. I just bought. I sold one. I bought 1 through 4 this weekend for $2 each.
No, I sold a CGC though, like at 9.6 for $100, and it was
number 1.
Yeah, and it had the first appearance of a bunch of people. I think it was a number 1. It had a first appearance of a bunch of weirdos.
They're doing,
I know nothing about
Star
Wars.
Star Wars.
It's their next movie arc. Knights of the Old Republic. Yeah, there's the Hunter.
Yeah, Star Wars 16. So we're about to see him come back. He's hunting Vader. They're bringing him back into. This is his first canon appearance, right? You're also going to see this is the Oz variant of Cassian and K2SO, right? So this is going to be one of those series, and then don't forget Jon Favreau doing the Mandalorian, right? So who knows who's going to pop up in that book? So it's not the movies.
Also, Jon Favreau's in the new Spider-Man movie. That's why everybody's going to see it. So.
Yeah.
That's why I'm going to see it.
You got that.
I only want to see Jon Favreau.
I'm there. Yeah. Do we know who the Elementals are yet? Because Fantastic Four, watch those Elementals over there.
That Elemental spec died hard. You were talking about stuff that died on the tree.
Yeah. Oh.
That one, they had that one panel where they were talking about it, and then it got super hot, and then it just man.
If you're specking on Fantastic Four, get out now. Except for early, obviously, right?
Yeah. So one of the things I've been trying to figure out, there is a female Jedi who was the star of the video game Knights of the Old Republic.
Okay. Yeah. And
anybody know her name?
No. Why? That sounds like an easy Google thing.
Right.
I don't know how that could.
I meant for conversational purposes.
No, nobody. There's like a million Star Wars video games. What?
No. For the Knights of the Old Republic.
There's like 15 expansions.
I think she is appearing in a comic soon. If she didn't just recently or something. Do you know, Nico?
I do not, but that's what I want to know.
Oh, are you drinking Monster now? I thought you're going to sleep.
Yeah, I'm trying to stay up with you maniacs.
Very late.
And for the record, that's some shit Gary should know. Gary knows all that kind of craziness.
I don't
an encyclopedia of comic book knowledge.
Star Wars, like video game stuff? No, sorry, man. Come on. I don't have time for video games.
She's very popular in the video games, and then I think she's going to make a comic book appearance soon.
Nah.
You're right, though. Star Wars is very hard to find unless you're completely engorged in it. Because you got to go between books, video games, movies. They're all they all have first appearances. And, first, if you want to get serious about first Boba Fett, his first is in a book.
Yeah.
And then you get the Marvel whatever special edition Star Wars magazine, and then it goes to the
You mean the Treasury edition?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it goes to the comic book series, but everybody just likes the comic book.
Well, I mean,
And
the Treasury
holiday special.
It's hard to spec on the treasuries, right? It's like,
Yeah.
the
absolutely.
Muhammad Ali one
Yeah.
is a totally different beast in itself, but it's hard to spec on that stuff. So same with magazines, because how do you store them? So I think that's all we had, though. Am I wrong? Did we have anything else?
We had a lot
for
of
this
other
week?
stuff. Did you want to just stop because you saw Nico was starting to drink a Monster? No,
I thought we were. I just thought it was
literally
place right here, right?
There's literally like
I thought we were just dying
35
off.
more items.
If you guys want to
Jimmy,
keep
I have so
going,
much. I
man.
have come on, Rivers of London. Come on, I have a lot of exciting stuff here.
So, do you want to jump to some movie stuff, and movie and TV stuff?
Let's talk about it. I don't know if it's anything other than super interesting to the three of us, but yeah, I'd like to at least hear what you guys say.
All right.
Go on.
So the first thing is Power Pack is rumored to be in the mix, which has been it's been on people's radar for 5 years or so, I'd say, at least for TV or movie, but I guess it's starting to again get some attention at Marvel Studios.
Okay, and the reason was a survey. Do you guys remember where that survey was generated?
What? I had not heard. I just heard they did a public survey.
So yeah, they did a public survey. There were 3 questions on it, and one was specifically about Power Pack.
What was the question? Does anybody know what Power Pack is?
I'd love to see the other 2 questions. What the other 2 questions were?
I don't.
Right.
Power Pack, wasn't that one of the original accessories for Nintendo 8-bit?
So
does it come with a Power Glove?
Yeah,
so they're coming back, right? Power Pack is coming back. Weezy Simonson is writing Power Pack again. That's they're bringing them back, and I think at least half of them are coming back in there. They're relaunching the Future Foundation. So Julie Power, Alex Power are coming back. So they're pushing those characters again, right?
Okay.
To me, is that a movie that anyone is excited? Is anyone like nostalgically driven toward Power Pack? Like I remember the one cover with like Wolverine and Katie Power, right, holding her up, like he's gonna like eviscerate her, and then we know Jimmy has the crack pack.
It's a great cover. This is a great cover, and it's a great book. A guy in the Marvel universe smokes crack, then plays basketball and dies.
It's a crisis.
That's in the story.
Oh,
it's great.
Is that a Len Bias story?
What?
Oh man,
well,
it's
Bias.
Yeah, he's Canadian. He doesn't get that. Come on.
It's John Guerrero is the story consultant, but the story's called Crack Up. Like, how can this is one of the greatest. This Power Pack one is a great one. So is the one where they're riding dolphins for some reason, and of course the Beta Ray Bill one. I mean, how can you go wrong with any of this stuff?
You don't have the Sabretooth one.
Who cares about the Sabretooth when you have Power Psychoderms?
Their origins.
This is the number one you should be going for, right? Not Power Pack, Power Psychoderms. And they're all like elephant, I don't know, aardvark things. I don't know.
Is that
like
a Star comic?
Adolescent radioactive black metal hamsters, right? Yeah, great.
But no, I'm excited for Power Pack because I don't know anything about them, and they have some great covers and some great stories. So,
I guess think about it like this: have they made a Marvel MCU movie that is directed towards younger generation kids?
Yeah, wasn't Captain Marvel?
What about the Marvel Rising?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Yeah.
There's lots of I think they've done lots of animated stuff, and even if you look at a show like Runaways, that was it's a good show, but it's probably a little bit younger audience.
Yeah.
I think that's where Power Pack could fit in, is that they don't have anything directed towards like a younger generation, and you can keep making these awesome MCU movies that are making you a lot of money, but
and I think the question was something weird like, do you want a movie or a television show?
Yeah. It sounds like a Hulu show at best to me, right? I mean, you can't see the MCU like Power Pack being the next like big thing taken off from there. Sorry, Jimmy.
I just think the stories are good. They're
We can see.
they're no, because you get them in the dollar bin and they're usually contained one issue stories,
But
and
they
that's
were
what
given
that's what I like.
they
I
were
like
given
those kind
their
of
powers
comics.
by a white cosmic space horse.
Listen,
That's where their powers come from.
Marvel
right?
has some really dumb characters, and the Power
Yeah.
Pack again aren't the greatest characters, but I since they're contained into one issues, I like it. So I don't
They
know.
also tie into Fantastic Four if they
Yeah,
are going to do stuff with that.
Franklin,
Well,
right, or whatever.
Yeah,
Alex Power
Yeah,
and Franklin, like I said, the Future Foundation, I think that
Yeah.
could possibly be where they might head next, right? Like a Fantastic Four, the next generation. But they haven't introduced the Fantastic Four in a feasible way yet, right? So we have to wait for that to happen. Franklin, Valeria, like what do you do with her? There are a lot of great characters out there, but Marvel, I think we don't know which way they're going to zig or zag yet. Like I know that you brought up like the Annihilus. Like, are they going to go Annihilation? Well, he just did a Cosmic Saga. Why would they go there again? I think Mephisto is the way to go, right? Marvel should go like spiritual, demon, devil. Like talk about go back to Spirits of Vengeance. That's the way they should go next. Mephisto might be the way to go.
I don't think in the movies. I don't think it makes
No?
sense for not because Disney. They're not even calling
Son of
They're not
Satan,
even
right?
calling him
Yeah.
Hellstorm.
Yeah, that's the problem, right? With
Son
the
yeah.
yeah.
So
All right.
so there was some other stuff with that. That Black Knight came back up again. Maybe that is actually going to be. I don't know if they said a movie, maybe, or TV show. It's kind
They're
of weird.
talking
I think.
crazy. Like they were like, "This is going to be a trilogy."
Like a trilogy of the Black Knight.
Yeah,
I can't get behind it. I
yeah,
can't.
It seems kind of
Who
odd.
can name the Black Knight? What's the Black Knight's name?
Dan.
Dane Whitman, right? Dane
Right.
Whitman is the Black Knight. I
Yeah.
mean, he has
If you'd asked me that 6 months ago, I couldn't have told you the answer.
Right.
no recognition at all. But maybe Captain Britain in M13 is that the?
I think
that's
it
an
is,
interesting.
yeah.
To me, that's an interesting series. Like go that way, go next wave, like go out, like Guardians of the Galaxy. They took these characters who were not like sort of known at all, and they took a chance. So you go those characters.
Yeah, and I like that too, Gary. The only thing that's got me a little concerned about that move is that Disney has now greenlit 2 Kingsman movies, and I'm like, they're gonna do a prequel, and they're gonna do part 3, and I'm like, is that fatal to Captain Britain M13?
Yeah, quite possibly, but if they want to go if they want to open up that British sort of sector, right? It's like, who is it? It's Black Knight, it's Captain Britain, it's
Betsy Braddock, baby, come on.
Well, I love Betsy Braddock. And they just sort of like they disconnected her from Quantum.
Who doesn't?
Yeah, like from Psylocke, right? And they made her own character again. She's popping up all over the place. She's like in the she was in the holiday special. She's popping up again. Captain Britain, Betsy Braddock, Megan, Excalibur. What about Excalibur? No one talks about Excalibur. Kitty Pryde, Nightcrawler, Captain Britain, Phoenix, Psylocke, whoever else is in there. Lockheed, right? Whatever. But Excalibur, that's a great British mutant series. And people love that.
Not a bad thought.
Yeah. So who knows?
Yeah, and for the record, if you can't find a number 1 in your mint condition for less than $10, I'll be shocked.
You're looking in the wrong place.
Yeah.
Right.
They're everywhere.
Remember Pete Wisdom?
Excalibur?
Pete Wisdom for a while was Pete Wisdom. Everyone was like on that guy. Like Pete Wisdom, where has he been for the last 8 years? And he came out of Excalibur. So there's a lot of great British characters, but where nobody knows where Marvel's going next. We don't know. We have no idea.
Here's one of the things that I think is kind of interesting, and I'd like to hear. Hopefully, Jimmy will tune back in and comment on this as well. So we're finally going to get the last season of Jessica Jones on Netflix. Mm-hmm. We know that there is, and people can argue about what they're going to do with these characters, but there's at least a couple years that they've got to sit back and not touch these specific characters before they either recast them or relaunch them, or even touch an iteration that's been on the Netflix shows. At what point do the first appearances of, for example, Luke Cage, or Iron Fist become interesting spec plays because people have stopped paying attention to them. The heat's off of them, and you can finally pick up real high-grade copies at a price that you haven't been able to touch on those books in years and years.
Well, I think. No, go ahead, John.
I don't have anything other than to say I think they're pretty darn low right now.
Yeah.
They absolutely are, and that Power Man #1 is hard in high grade. Black cover, wasn't taken care of.
Very hard to find, and also when you think about it, the last Jessica Jones series, which was actually really good, was released digital only, and they released the that series. I think it was called The Purple Daughter or something along that way, where Danielle Cage was possessed by she turned purple, and it tied in with the Purple Man. They had that sort of come back in, but it was digital only, just like Daughters of the Dragon with Colleen and Misty Knight. Yeah, so they're shuffling them off to like, and I know the creators are upset because I've spoken to the creators and they're like, we didn't get these great books released and nobody knows about them. They're being released in trade. I read them online. Great series. When you think about where I think they have to sit on those characters for a while. I think Jessica Jones, particularly. I think the whole Luke Cage angle, Danielle Cage. If they're looking at Next Generation, maybe that's where they go. I loved Colleen Wing. I thought that spec was great. She was the best character in the horrible Iron Fist series, right? Like everyone loved her, but they didn't know how to develop those characters. So I think we're going to see them sort of put aside. They're going to take those toys, put them in the side of the toy box for now. Like, what are they doing with Daredevil? Like, Daredevil is a huge Marvel character right now. He is, and I know we spoke a little bit about, I looked at, like Blind Spot, right? Like Blind Spot may be the new Daredevil. We see that Chip Zdarsky is writing that Daredevil series. He said there will be no new Daredevil. There's something going on, but he came out on Twitter and said, everyone's saying Blind Spot's the new Daredevil. And we know that he came out in that Marvel .1, right? There's a Paul Pope variant on that one. But I think those characters are ones that they're going to put on the side for now, let them sort of sit back. This is a time to buy those, put them in a box. If you're not in a rush to make money, put them in your short boxes, put them in your long boxes, and put them away for now. All of those street level characters. Iron Fist, come on, that guy is like, they screwed the pooch of that character. They took someone who they thought was going to really be like a major thing in that Netflix universe, and they just sort of, and it died. So they killed that spec. So this is a time to be buying those. Put those away. If you're not in a situation where you're like living day to day and this is your next paycheck, put those books away. Iron Fist is a great character. Colleen Wing is a great character. Misty Knight is a great character. Put those away right now. Maybe they come out with that Fearless Defenders book. Who knows where they're going? Like nobody knows right now. So I don't know.
So is Blind Spot is not going to be the next Daredevil? So
Chip Zdarsky came out and they said immediately, if you read that horrible 5-issue series, Daredevil, I don't know what it's called, but it was 5 issues. Blind Spot shows up. He's mad at Matt Murdock. He disappears and says, you know what? There always has to be a Daredevil. Now we see that issue comes out. There's a new Daredevil on the cover. Chip Zdarsky said there is no new Daredevil coming out. So to me, I would buy that Marvel .1. Those Marvel .1 books are weird anyway. I never know. Like there's that cover that Jimmy has on there right now. That's a Paul Pope cover. Yeah. There are those covers, and I think those also they had a regular cover, and then they had the 2 split covers of the characters of I think Laura's on one of those, like
X-23
and then,
is on one.
Yeah, and then Red Wolf is on the other
first,
one. Yeah, it's a connecting cover, but that's the cover to buy right now.
That's like the first X-23 as Wolverine. If you're into those kind of.
Yeah, and I think that was a great design for her, right? I love that cover. I have all of those around, but I think that's a great thing. You know, I know we're running to the movies a little bit now. Ultimates, another group, right? You're hearing a lot about the Ultimates. Like, is that the next Avengers? Or the Avengers have died out. Are they going Ultimates? Are they going Ultimates?
That one doesn't make any sense to me.
None whatsoever.
So they're saying the Ultimates could be a new movie, for Marvel.
Because they want to, actually, I think it's a really smart way, because they want to go into the multiverse, right? Of the Marvel multiverse. So, okay, you don't have Chris Evans, you don't have Robert Downey. So here's the ultimate version of this book. But maybe you go to the Al Ewing Ultimates, where you introduce America Chavez, right? Like, that's a character that pops up in the Ultimates.
Oh.
Those are beautiful covers,
So
right?
it's like we're talking Ultimates Volume 7.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Because
The
I mean,
Ultimates.
I think John's point is that the whole Marvel cinematic universe is based on the Ultimates. I mean,
absolutely.
Mark Miller and Brian Hitch's initial run is what I think established what the films were based on, and I know that's what got Samuel L. Jackson to sign on.
Yep.
Like Captain America: First Avenger, right? Like that whole, like, his thing is the Ultimates, like, uniform, right? His first, like, pre-war uniform, right?
I'm not sure, but it's very possible and probable.
I mean, it looks like it.
I mean, they just teased out every little plot line they could from the Ultimate runs and dropped them in the MCU simply because they were updated and timely.
Well, how old is Spider-Man in the comic book?
In the Ultimates?
Well, in the comic book. No, in like the Spider-Man that comes out monthly. How old is he?
Amazing Spider-Man?
Yeah, Amazing Spider-Man. He's a lot older than he is in the TV show or in the movie.
Like 35?
Yeah,
I think so. But in the movie, that follows how old he is in the Ultimates Spider-Man. Ultimate Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So
being, like, super young.
Yeah. So I just feel like that's why I think it's a weird thing. But yeah, if they base it off Volume 7 or whatever, where the whole team is, or whatever volume that is, because I mean they did so many of them.
3.
It could be 3, but it feels like 7, feels like 12. But
because they did.
There's been a lot of Ultimates, right?
Yeah.
But so that would be buying Spectacle.
Right, so that
first appearance
that cover.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, okay, so yeah, that would be the one.
I just picked one of those up.
Yeah, and also that Hans cover, right?
Yeah, that's a great one.
Yeah. Oh my God, beautiful. Captain Marvel.
It's got Captain Marvel and America Chavez.
So maybe they have Captain Marvel start her own Avengers, right? Like, maybe that's the Ultimates. Maybe they go that route with it. Again, everybody's just sort of like throwing darts in the dark, right? Nobody knows
she
where
was
they're going
Carol
next.
Avenger Danvers, right? The original Avenger.
Oh yeah, right. Because it said, was that her?
It was on her plane or something. I just watched the movie. Okay, so I mean, I'm sorry, you'll hear references.
Jimmy, I'm really impressed that you watched that. Right, Michael Caine wasn't in it, and you watched the Avengers.
You know, I didn't see any reason like people could complain about it. I didn't see any like it started off slow, but I mean, there was nothing wrong with that movie at all. I mean, sure, Samuel L. Jackson and Ben Middle, whatever the guy is from Blood Brothers, who played Talos. Yeah, sure. Those if those were two different actors, I'm sure the movie wouldn't have been as great. But I really enjoyed it. I mean, I can't think of one thing that was wrong with that movie.
I think it was a necessary movie, right? You couldn't introduce her in the Avengers because she had such a convoluted backstory, so you had to have that movie take place. Right?
Like I don't like that it's a female Captain Marvel, but because I like the male Captain Marvel, but I do like the way they do the story.
There we go.
So well, I mean they could introduce but they could introduce a male Captain Marvel. I'm just saying, like, I enjoy the Fawcett Captain Marvel. That's my favorite one where he's like all
Shazam.
pretty much.
Yeah, that's
from the old serials from the 1920s,
you're right.
Yeah.
Okay, but also I do like the Captain Marvel, the male character in the Marvel superheroes. But it doesn't matter. Whatever.
Yeah.
I think it was a great movie, and I don't think there was anything wrong with it.
Jimmy watched it because he wanted to understand what a beeper was.
Well, now I can watch
And
Endgame, right? So
what is this beeper again? You did what with this now?
So what do you think about Spider-Man: Far From Home, right? Will that be so a lot of people think Mysterio is like sort of bullshitting, right? Like that he's not coming from this multiverse, but what if he is from the multiverse, and now what they do is they use that movie opens up the multiverse from there. Like the ultimate Mysterio comes from that ultimate universe, and now they open up this whole series of sort of, we can go any which way we want to go. Nothing has to be connected to the MCU. All these characters that you knew about, we don't care about. We can put in any character we want in any sort of scenario from that point on.
Of course, that's what they're gonna do.
Yeah, of course, right?
I don't see how that makes sense.
But I think they have to, because they don't have these people locked down. So now they can just start saying, we're going to start pulling from here. We're going to pull from here. They're going to pull.
So are you going to
all
have
these
like a
different
different Captain America? Well, you're saying America
yeah,
Chavez.
Yeah, we have it already. We have it already.
Yeah.
The Falcon, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
if
Good luck with
anybody
that
is under some
that has nothing to do with
misimpression,
multiverse.
Yeah,
If anyone's
that's
under-
right. That's
Look,
MCU, right?
That's
Yeah,
canon right now.
I think everyone should agree that the like 15-20 year plan, the touchdown for Marvel that they've been talking about like in 30 fucking different interviews from everybody from writers to producers, Secret Wars.
Yeah.
We know that's where they
Yeah.
want to go, because you
Yeah.
can't do anything bigger than Infinity Gauntlet than Secret Wars. They got two tricks. They're a two-trick pony. And they've got to do the multiverse to do that. They also need to recast these characters.
Yep.
You know, as much as like, okay, so I don't necessarily have a lot of faith that America Chavez is going to be, you know, some sort of fixture in the MCU. We may get lucky and see her or any, you know, 48 different
Kamala Khan,
iterations.
whoever you're gonna bring in.
Yeah, eventually Steve Rogers is coming back, and he's going to be, you know, some young and up and coming, blonde-haired, blue-eyed, you know, actor that's on the cover of Maxim magazine. That's going to get, you know what I mean? Like, that's just what's going to happen, right?
They had a guy on the
and
cover.
they
Are you
need
still
to
reading
be-
Maxim? Are you still reading Maxim? Come on.
I don't
Is that
fucking
still out?
know.
Is that
Whatever,
open?
whatever it is. Good housekeeping.
I mean, James Bond had numerous people playing him, and what was that one where Alec Baldwin was and Harrison Ford or something?
No, that was Tom Clancy, Jack Ryan, right?
Yeah, Jack Ryan.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was
Yeah.
Jack Ryan was like 4 actors by now.
John
Tom Cruise played him at
Krasinski,
one
John
point too.
Krasinski,
Yeah,
everybody.
So I could see it happening. I mean, I'm okay with it. I think everybody else should be.
Yeah, but I think that's how they're going to do that, and I'm excited for that. I think that'll be a good kind of thing to see.
So we are thinking this is a real thing.
What?
Ultimate.
The multiverse?
Maybe a movie.
I don't know about all that, but I think a
Oh.
multiverse play and
Multiverse with different universe versions of the same characters we've already seen.
What about
Yes.
time travel? What about a time travel play where, like, the Avengers Forever type play, where you go back in time and you grab these like heroes from different eras and go back? That might be a different way to go, where we're jumping through time instead of jumping through different universes. But
We'll see
don't
what
forget-
the Loki show is going to be kind of like that. So we'll see what happens with that.
well,
Right.
Spider-Verse, right? Into the Spider-Verse, right? That opened up the whole sort of
Yeah, that's a
window
multiverse movie.
Yeah, maybe Marvel said, "Damn, that movie performed really well. We could do that with the regular MCU," right?
Yeah,
So,
I think that's a
yeah.
possibility.
all they want to do is
Especially
the cash
because-
cow, right?
Well, they've already dropped a couple, with the first Spider-Man and Donald Glover. They already kind of hinted at Miles
Mhm.
Morales, which at the time seemed kind of odd. But maybe now it's yeah. Have you seen those clips of where they go back through all of the 20 Marvel movies and they pull out all these little pieces of like, oh, there was this part of this movie. Doesn't it make sense now? Oh, there was this part of this movie. Doesn't they could be doing that with Spider-Man too.
yeah,
So
and
you're saying invest in the Prowler. Prowler spec is the way to go. Is that what you're saying right now?
if Donald Glover becomes the
love him.
Prowler, it's a wrap. Yeah,
Jimmy, can you get me a Donald Glover Prowler SS?
A friend of mine has like a Miles Morales pop signed by
Donald
him.
Glover.
yeah, which
That's
I
cool.
always love. I was like, why would you do that?
Well, he was
don't know.
the voice of Miles Morales in the animated series.
Whatever.
Jimmy, can you get me a Michael Caine Alfred Batman?
Can you
Oh.
imagine?
SS?
Ooh.
Come
That'd
on,
be cool.
Ooh.
Batman
Damn.
Returns. Come
First-
on,
damn.
that's a great one right there, Jimmy. If you could do that, come on.
Mm. He might want to keep that in his own collection.
The
Yeah.
master of signature series.
I don't know, guys.
He definitely is.
I don't know.
Hey, before
what's going on
Jimmy
with-
go, I was afraid you're going to cut us off.
Oh, I want to. What's going on with Swamp Thing though?
The trailer dropped today. It
Looks good.
Amazing.
Yeah,
I think it looks awesome.
it looks
So
So
really
you
good.
think all of the rumors that it got cut because it sucked and the studio worrying about
I
it,
don't-
you think that all might be fake news?
I don't know that they said it got cut because it wasn't. They didn't like the story or anything, did they? Did they
No,
didn't really
I don't know.
explain
It was
why
They,
more
they
like-
never explained it.
Yeah.
The one actor just said that she was disappointed, right? And she said
Yeah.
that on social media and then deleted the post.
I think they are.
Yeah.
They're basically set. I think the DC channel is in trouble still though, and I don't think
Absolutely.
they're gonna make another season of Swamp Thing, even though it looks awesome.
Or if they do,
Titans-
it'll be on some Warner Brothers kind of streaming
Mhm.
service,
CW
right?
or something.
Yeah. So because has any of this spec taken off like Titans or Doom Patrol? There's no money to be made there at all.
Nico and I were talking about that earlier. Titans, there's
Yeah.
no spec as far as characters, but
Well, what about the first appearance of Wonder Girl? Isn't that what people are the Wonder Woman's
Stargirl?
daughter? No, Wonder Woman's daughter. Have you watched Titans?
Yeah.
Diana
Am I
Troy.
right?
Donna Troy.
Yeah.
Isn't that Wonder Girl? Am I wrong in saying that that's
Yeah.
Wonder
No,
Girl?
you're right.
Okay.
What
It
about
is,
Flex?
yeah.
What about Flex Mentala? Right. There's your
I
spec
haven't
right
seen
there.
all of.
Has
Doom
he
Patrol,
shown?
you gotta watch
Has he shown up though?
Okay,
Yeah.
you have to. You have
Okay,
to
I
go
haven't
on
watched
YouTube.
Doom Patrol yet, so that's
All right.
I
So
haven't watched
Are
it all
those
yet.
books aren't selling? Is what you're saying?
I won't spoil it, but just
I don't
just,
care. I mean,
no.
everybody knew he appeared in there.
Yeah,
So
it's cast.
did you see the scene where basically they have a scene on his crotch and everybody around in the whole vicinity has like multiple orgasms? You have to watch that scene alone. So the Flex Mentallo beach towels that they released with the young animals, Gerard Way. Come on, buy those up now.
Oh.
That's where it's at.
Are we talking about the boys or Doom Patrol or of the
Doom,
Butcher?
so that's Doom Patrol.
The
Yeah.
Butcher.
The Boys.
Um,
Isn't that supposed to? Where is that? Isn't that supposed to be out already? When's that coming out?
I
It's
keep forgetting to look. I think
supposed to
Jimmy,
come out
that's your
on
book.
Amazon Prime.
yeah, but
Yeah.
when June?
Can't wait.
I don't know. I don't have Amazon Prime. Who has Amazon Prime?
Everybody who buys
So,
fucking Amazon packages.
I sell on eBay,
I do.
not Amazon.
Nico and I were talking about Doom Patrol. Crazy Jane is still selling for about $20-$30.
Yeah, Mr.
Okay,
Nobody
that's-
too, I think.
Oh yeah, right. Oh,
What
When
about the
she
first
was-
appearance of Doom Patrol? Is that doing anything or no?
It's hard to spec on books like that. I will
that is
say,
hard.
It's a big buy-in.
yeah, My Greatest Adventures, whatever. One book that I
15,
bought
think.
before the show came out was Doom Patrol 84, I believe. It's their first name and title solo series. Remember when they used to actually do comics the right way, and they would have like, they were in what series were they in? Strange DC's version of Strange Tales. What the heck was that series called? But they picked up off of that, and then 84 is actually their first issue of their own series. So it's like a #1, but they just pulled it off of the guest series that they were in.
Yeah,
I
and-
sold one of those when the show came out for
Yeah,
a
and
lot
Beast
more
Boys,
than I expected.
right? And Beast Boys' first appearance is the big
That's
play.
always
That's like,
been.
yeah,
right,
of
but
course.
that's, that's the
that's-
safe play.
Yeah,
That book is impossible to find in decent shape.
I've never seen that come up anywhere.
Correct. Yeah.
I have
Auction
one. I got
houses.
home. It had a bunch of tape on it. I didn't realize.
Oh,
But yeah, whatever.
Happens.
Yeah, it happens.
Happens to the best of us.
yeah. So my question with the Swamp Thing show, right? And I'm not trying to suggest that like this is the book to buy. So please don't misinterpret that question. But if you can show it on the screen, Jimmy, it's Saga of the Swamp Thing #6.
Okay.
And this is Donald Sutherland's character.
Yep.
Not Donald's.
Wait,
No.
Donald
Not Donald Sutherland.
What are you talking about?
General
That's an actor.
Sutherland.
Go back
General
to MASH.
Sutherland. General Sutherland's first appearance, and who plays him, or who's he?
Will Patton.
Will
Not
Patton.
Donald.
Will Patton, right?
No, I don't know what his first name is. Nico's
I think
right,
it's Will
General
Patton, right?
Sutherland.
I think Will Patton. I think you're
Yes,
right.
yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Right. And the book's basically free, right? It's like $3 on eBay. I think there's like 20 copies up there, and
And
so
he was
if you
very
wa-
prominent in the trailer.
right. And he's apparently, and I don't know if this is accurate or not with that. I haven't watched the series, but here's my question, and I don't know that there's necessarily a right or a wrong answer, but it's certainly something to think about. So you make a decision that you want to speculate on something to do with the Swamp Thing. right? And you don't want to drop $1,300 on that CGC 6.5 copy of House of Secrets 92 that's got thrown up on the CGC boards today. But you got a couple $100s to spend. Do you A, buy a Swamp Thing #1, or B, pick up all 20 copies of this issue of the Saga Swamp Thing off of eBay, catapult it to the most sold comic of the week on cover price for like a $200-300 buy-in, and then throw one of them up at $30 a piece, or $29.99, buy it now, recoup your money and see how it rolls.
Boy, that's
because this, and perhaps Swamp Thing's not the right show to do it with, right? Perhaps it's not, right? But the point is, there are always opportunities like this where you can either make a play on a book that will kind of get hot, that you can buy multiple copies of, or you can sink your cash into, a higher grade copy of a key book. Get it pressed, cleaned, and slabbed, and see if you can, make some money turning that over. But if you're looking, to try to make like a move on these books, these are the kinds of things that I think that, you've got to be weighing the pros and cons of before you make a decision one way or the other. So
one book I've been looking at for that Swamp Thing is Swamp Thing 3. And that's particularly because that's the first appearance of Abby Arcane. She is a major character in that series. It's one of those books that you can find cheaply, and it's going for, if I'm to look through, a very fine, sold for $60, right? You can find that book cheap and long boxes. Swamp Thing 3, who's buying it? People don't know Abby Arcane.
That's a 12 center.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that I'd be paying $60 right now unless it was real.
I'm looking. That was.
I think you got a small window on a book like that.
Today you had $61. You had a $91 8.0 sale. You had another, and then you had a $40 like fine sale. So $100 sale of 3. So you have some big sales on that book. To me, that's a book that you're looking in long boxes. Swamp Thing. Like, who's buying Swamp Thing? Nobody's buying Swamp Thing. Swamp Thing 3, that's not a book like people buy the 1. They grab the 2 out of there. That's the next one. Like, 2 people buy 1s and 2s together. 3 doesn't come out there unless you're looking particularly for a character, right? So you can put that up there, make some quick money before the series launches, get it out there, right?
So the other thing about this series is because it's on the DC channel, they only do 1 a week. It's not a Netflix drop.
Correct.
So you got a slow build on these. So that it's an interesting thought. It's not like if you're buying it for because it comes out this week, comes out Thursday or Friday.
And the thing with these DC shows,
I want to
say Friday.
Episode. Yeah, first episode.
Yeah, I think Friday. And the thing with the DC shows is they don't drop the whole series at once. So you get.
Is there an echo in here?
Oh, did you just say that? I'm sorry.
I'm just messing with you. Yeah. It's all right. You got me
it's
back
past
for
my
earlier.
bedtime.
You got me back for
It's
earlier.
past my bedtime, buddy.
You said something and I.
No, I think I really do think that's all we had though.
Yeah, well, hold on. One last thing.
I mean, no, we have like I think everything else.
We're like strong in the conversation.
We got a giveaway.
Like cutting us off.
Well, I don't think I'm cutting you off. I just don't think I think we're good. I mean, we have Archie we can talk about next week.
Yeah,
there's no rush on that.
Yeah, no rush on that. But for the record,
I think that was it.
We do have a giveaway.
Oh, we have a giveaway this week?
Absolutely. Like I said, I'm going to continue to give away comics until either people watch the podcast or I run out of books. And I have a lot of comic books. So this is what we're going to do. It is Captain America number 241, autographed by Bob McLeod. And again,
what's the sticker say?
It says autographed by Bob McLeod at Pittsburgh Comic Con 2006.
Ooh,
yeah,
vintage autograph.
Yeah, very interesting.
Vintage autograph.
Yeah, and all you've got to do in order to enter the free giveaway is share the YouTube link on social media somewhere, be it your own Facebook page, Instagram page, someone else's
And
page.
that's all you have
Not
to
the
do.
comic
That's all you.
DeSPECtive page.
All you have to do is share the YouTube link. That
Come
seems
on.
like
right.
I think
That's
last
not
week was
that
a
hard.
little harder, but yeah, I think all you have to do is do that, and then you got to send a screen cap to hiphopcomics@gmail.com.
Yeah.
And the email and all the instructions will be in the description of the YouTube page, so we could do that. And I think that sounds great.
Thanks, Gary.
Yeah, so congratulations to our contest winner for
Thanks for having me in here, guys. I
for the
appreciate
first
it.
one. We'll definitely talk to you, and again, thanks Gary for joining us this week. Really
Thanks.
enjoyed it.
I hope I was able to add something to the conversation, guys. But you,
I'm glad-
Our
you
first
do a great
guest,
job.
I think it was great.
I'm
Yeah,
glad
I
you made it
appreciate
through and your roof stayed on the whole time.
Yeah, we're looking good. We're looking good.
Great.
Peace, guys. Cheers.
We'll catch you guys next week.
All right.
See ya.
Thanks.